Hello, guys. This is probably not the most flattering angle, but I wanted to make sure that I popped on and did my November review. Many of you have already been commenting on my December budget, which went up before my November budget review, but I wanted to do the review, and I think I'm going to call it a report card from moving forward. But I think that it's important to not only share my budget with you, but also to share my monthly budget report card. So if you are just watching me, my name is Stacey Flowers. I'm super excited, and I am restarting my Financial Peace University journey, and this is the budget report card for November of 2017. So as many of you know, I have my just review reflection questions, and we have quite a bit to talk about for this month. So let's dive into it. So what am I grateful for from last month? So from the month of November, I am most grateful for that I paid my rent in advance. If you watch the budget review video from October, you know that I got a lump sum of money and took a portion of that and paid my rent in advance. That was like the most amazing decision ever because it enabled me to not have to really stress out in November about covering my basic living expenses. The second thing that I'm super grateful for is I got a part-time job. I'm super excited, and I'll talk about that a little later, but I'm super excited for the part-time job. And the third thing that I'm grateful for is all the provision that was given last month, given that I didn't earn any money. So for the month of November, I think November had 30 days. I did not earn a single dollar. I didn't sell anything in terms of like selling household items. I didn't work, no study, no nothing. So there was zero income that came in. So I'm super, super grateful for the provision that came in for the month of November. And again, once we get into the numbers, we'll talk about that. I am coming to you guys very gym regular today. Today is laundry day, and I am literally, because I was like, I'm committed to keeping this progress report going. I wanted to just like make sure that I got it done. So next time maybe I'll be a little bit more glam for you guys. But what worked last month? What worked really well last month was keeping receipts. I kept all of the receipts. Again, I didn't have income, so I wanted to make sure that I was just very, very aware of what I was spending. And then I think to sharing my income. This will be the third month that I'm sharing my income, my expenses, etc. But sharing it in this public platform, you guys have no idea. It's providing me with so much accountability. I mean, I'm not where I want to be by the stretch of anyone's imagination, but I am slowly but surely, I'm getting my wings. What didn't work last month? What didn't work was me not sharing my upcoming events, my products, my services. It also didn't work for me last month to not go grocery shopping. I found that I snacked a lot more, especially with me picking up a part-time job. I didn't have groceries on hand, so there was just a lot more snacking, and not have water available. I wrote down not have water available. So it must have also didn't work for me that I didn't have my water available. So I think I'm going to get a Brita filter for my faucet so that I can just drain from there, and I don't have to buy the like huge jugs of water because I consume a lot of water. So what do I need to stop doing? I need to stop snacking. I need to stop procrastinating on my business objectives. And when I say my business objectives, many of you know, prior to this year, I've had incredible success with various business ideas, and I know that that is available to me. I think given sort of the nature and some of the health things that happened in 2017, I am a little shy about putting myself back out there so swiftly because I just don't want to be consumed by it again. But I definitely need to stop procrastinating on it because I have the privilege of being educated, very well educated. Yes, I paid for my education, but it is still very much a privilege. I also have the privilege of many years of business experience and many clients and customers who love me and who are willing to continue to invest and purchase. And so I definitely need to put myself back out there business-wise. So the thing that I need to start doing is I need to start pitching for speaking again, and I need to promote and publish consistently. So promote my events and publish consistently on my blog. My December goals are to fund my emergency fund of $500, to sell out my Ultimate Vision Board Party, which is an annual event that I do every year, the steps that I need to accomplish these goals, I need to save about $125 a week. I also need to create a 30-day Instagram, Facebook promotion plan for my event. And then how will I measure my goals? I will measure my goals by my savings balance. So the $500 emergency fund will be in my Chase Bank savings account, and then my selling out my Ultimate Vision Board party will be measured by the number of tickets sold. How will I celebrate? If I meet my first goal of saving $500, I will buy a new book. At this time, I'm not purchasing books, and you guys know I love books, so I'm checking them out from the library. When I sell out my event, I will buy a new outfit for the event to wear instead of wearing something that I already have. So that's sort of just like a review that I do every month before, at the end of every month before I do my next budget. So let's go over the report card. Like, how did I do? And I did a lot of projecting for income for November, and again, I didn't make that. So the income that I projected was $3,000. I told you I didn't earn any money in November, and so obviously I did not earn that. So in terms of me meeting the standard of my budget, I didn't meet it because I didn't earn any of that. So instead of doing a side-by-side comparison, what I planned on spending versus what I spent, let me just tell you the categories that I spent in, the total amount that I spent. And so the total amount of money that I spent in the month of November was $449.59. And excuse me, again, and I'm sorry guys, I'm also just getting over a little bit of a cold. I'm telling you, I'm like trying to be here with you. Again, I paid my rent in advance, so I didn't have my rent expense, which would have significantly increased my budget. The other significant thing that happened in the month of November is that my car got repossessed. And in my car getting repossessed, that obviously eliminates a car note, car insurance. I would have also had to pay my tax this month. But just before getting my car repossessed, I did get an oil change. I got like an oil change and something else because it's like $75. Or maybe that's how much a Volkswagen oil change costs. I'm not for sure. The point of the matter is for my car, I had a $75 expense. And then subsequently my car was repossessed. And so just a note about my car being repossessed. I know that as a once successful business person, as a mother, as a woman in my 30s, as a professional, as an educated human being with a master's, I should be full of so much shame and sadness about having my car repossessed, but I am not. The primary emotion that I have right now is relief. I do not like driving, and I do not like having a car. I am so relieved that I do not have the car insurance, tags, and car note expense. Obviously, what will happen, or not obviously, but what will happen through my bank is that they repossess the car, they will sell it in an auction. The difference between what they sell the car for in an auction and what I owe on the car will be the remaining balance. So I'm not let off the hook by the stretch of anyone's imagination. I still have to pay my debt, but I do not have, and also I don't have gas, but I do not have the day-to-day expense of gas, insurance, car note, and general maintenance on the car. And that is a huge relief. And so while I don't feel any negative feelings about it whatsoever. And actually a couple of months ago, I was thinking about just returning it to the bank, but it just felt so irresponsible. So total relief there. So my transportation expenses have been reduced to about $100 a month. In the month of November, I only had to spend and the $100 a month will give me a 30-day pass to ride public transportation here in Chicago. In the month of November, I didn't have to get a 30-day pass. I just got 1 week, and 1 week was $28. So my total transportation cost was $28, which the months prior, that would have been like 3/4 of a tank of gas. So I went from like being able to spend $28 to get around for a whole week to spending $28 to have 3/4 of a tank of gas and maybe only getting around for a couple of days, depending on where I went. So for transportation, I spent $28 to get that bus card. For groceries, and these groceries, I use this term loosely because there was so much snacking in there, which is just not acceptable, was $123.32, which is over budget. I would like to spend $100 a month on food, but then also I would like to eat quality food. And I would say that I am snacking more because, and this is 1,000% an excuse, and okay, maybe it's not an excuse so much as I'm trying to get to the root of where all this snacking is from, because I'm not typically a snacky person. I know last month I went home and I was like, it was just not a good thing, and I was using food for comfort. So I don't know if now this month it's a little bit more of a habit, or I just need to I just need to better prepare myself food wise, because this snacking has to go, because it's just not good overall. So I went over budget on that, $23.32, and also just personally want to eat better. And again, I'm sharing these details with you guys because as this changes, I think the first time that I went on this journey, many people were very inspired, and I read every comment that you guys have, and I'm so happy that the first time I went on this, it was so inspiring to you all. But some of the comments that I got was because my income was so much higher than most of the people who wanted to do something like this, they didn't necessarily feel like I could relate or serve or help them from where they were starting. And I really want to show my experience of starting over from zero. As I'm saying, I did not earn any money this month. Starting over from zero, and what it really looks like to dig yourself out of a hole. Like, however deep your hole is, like, so long as you're still breathing, you can come out of the hole. And like, that is the whole point with documenting this journey, is that I want my intention is to allow my transparency to not only hold me accountable to this thing that I want to do, but also for it to be that beacon of light or inspiration to you, to say that no matter how deep or dark this hole is, like, I can come out of it. So, and that's why sometimes I give the additional details. Some I want to remember, like, Stacey, why were you spending $123 on junk food when you are a healthy person? What's that about? Some of it I want to be able to go back and know better for myself. So the thing that surprised me in the month of November is I did not realize that I had an Audible subscription. And for some reason, I mean, I kept getting Audible credits, but I guess maybe I thought I was on like a free trial or something like that. Clearly I was not. So that was $31.88, but I canceled that, so that won't be there next month. And I get free audiobooks. I'm going to do another video about where you can get free books, like reading books, and then free audiobooks from as well. But $31.88 came out for that. I also had an iTunes subscription. I'm thinking the iTunes subscription is through my son, but I canceled that. That total was $6.29. Then I have $15 a month that I spend. That's my only business expense that I have right now on my podcast, the Stacey Flowers podcast. That's on iTunes. I had a Kindle Unlimited subscription. Again, I must have signed up for all of this at one time and just completely forgot about it. But that was $9.99. I canceled that. And then on personal items, hygiene and things like that, I spent $20.11. And then my last expense for the month of November was for therapy. I had 2 sessions, so that was $140. So the total amount that I spent in November was $449.59, which on the surface, that seems like that is like an okay amount to spend, but in reality it's not, because I didn't earn any money. So the idea is if I'm not earning any money, I shouldn't be spending any money, right? So this is again me still like trying to dig myself out of this hole and trying to get back on the thing. And so the last part that I wanted to just chat with you quickly about is the important things that went on in November. So I mentioned that my car was repossessed in November. I picked up a part-time job. The other thing that I did in November is I started a Financial Peace University class. So I'm retaking the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University class. And I'm doing that again for an extra layer of accountability. I want to create a community around what I'm doing. And also, I just think education is valuable. Until I'm 100% out of debt, then I need to be in the class, is the way that I see it. This is just what works for me. And having a class to go to and a group of people who are expecting me to be there every single week helps me tremendously. So I restarted that class. And what was awesome about restarting that class is that while I was in the class, in the first class, Dave Ramsey talks about the baby step number 1. So that's my goal right now, is to do baby step number 1. And I kept saying, oh, I need to save $1,000. I need to save $1,000 to do baby step number one. But the truth is, under the Dave Ramsey plan, if you make under $20,000, your baby step number one is $500. So really what I need to save is $500. And so that is the reason why that is one of my goals for the month of December, because I really want to get that baby step done so that way, starting in January, I can begin to repay on debt. And so I just wanted to mention that. But I also mentioned that to say, like, I'm retaking the class. I've taken it, and you would think that I would have known that already, but you don't know it. Like, just because you're doing something and you're following a philosophy, it doesn't mean that you can't go back and listen to it, which is one of the reasons why I appreciate with Financial Peace University, you have lifetime access. So that means no matter if you're doing well and you just want to continue to do well, or if you've fallen off like me, you can always start back over and you can do it again. What I was saying before is the month of October was all about restoring my financial dignity. Then November was sort of like living in the space of a little bit of restored financial dignity. And I think the month of December, once my emergency fund is saved and I can begin January paying on my debt snowball, what that will really do will be to restore pieces of my integrity. And I talk about this all the time. Like, integrity is one of my top 3 values, and it's about being whole. And I really dislike not having my words match my actions. And so creating debt, I mean, all the debt that I've created with human beings, but specifically creating debt with vendors and business partners, people who believed in a business idea that I had, and me not being able to honor those debts in a timely fashion, it weighs on me heavily. And so I feel like once my emergency fund is saved, and I can, even if it's just $10 or $15 or $25, like, no amount is too small for me to put towards debt. I feel like the bits and pieces of my integrity that fell off or were broken or chipped away or whatever, those pieces will be restored. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. So I think that retaking the class and realizing that that I don't, like, even though I took the class, I learned everything, taking it again is just like giving me greater insight and understanding as to why I was able to be so successful, but also why I fell off and where I stopped listening to those principles and things like that. So overall, for this report card, since we're going to be giving it a report card, I'm going to give myself a C. And the reason I'm giving myself a C is because, first of all, I did not earn any income, and a part of my report card is income. So that drops my grade significantly because there was no income earned. The second reason why I'm going to give myself a C is because while my expenses were not like extreme, like, again, I spent under $500 this month, I still spent money that was unnecessary, and specifically in the grocery snacking area, and then in the, I would say, Audible, iTunes, and Kindle. Those 3 areas would probably be entertainment areas. And while I wasn't completely aware that those charges were being charged, it's like, it is my responsibility to pay attention to what's being charged. But again, it's just like when, like, and I don't know if I've actually done a full video on like everything that happened. Maybe I'll do that. But it's just like, I cannot emphasize enough how getting sick in the way that I got sick, where it literally felt like one day I went to sleep and then several months later I woke up. However, even though it felt that way, in reality, I was up every single one of those days, but my cognitive ability was just not there because of the layer of depression and the depth of the anxiety that I was dealing with. And so it's like coming out of that and realizing the unconscious expenses that exist even now, right? Like, even to this particular, like, it's we are now in December when I'm doing this review, but even now it's like I realized that sorry, I got a text message. I realized that there were just so many things that I was doing that I wasn't aware that I was doing. Even when I did have the ability to be aware, I still wasn't aware. And when I didn't have the ability to be aware, I wasn't aware. And last month, it wasn't something that I looked at. Oh, that's the other thing that I wanted to say. The other thing that I also love about retaking the FPU class, because this is my second month, right? Like doing the budget, it's like you should be together. But in the program, Dave Ramsey talks about how it takes 3 months to actually get back into the flow of doing a budget. It takes 3 months to get the budget right. And he talks about one of the main reasons why it takes 3 months to get the budget right and to get like on track with it is because you're going to forget things. And I feel like the Audible, the iTunes, the Kindle, those are things that like I forgot. Even when I sat down last month and I was like, oh, let's do this. There was no time when I talked about Kindle or Audible or anything because I wasn't even thinking about it. Even though I was enjoying the fruits or the benefit of these memberships, I took no thought of adding that to my budget. And I think that going back through the class and realizing that even though I've done this before, starting over is literally just that. It's like you're starting over almost as if you didn't know. And I think moving forward, and I think I had mentioned this in my last video, I'll probably stop talking about this being a do-over and just talk about this being the thing that I'm doing right now and starting from where I'm starting, because one, language is very important, but two, I think that in order for me to maintain my position of being open to learning, I cannot ever confuse what I experienced before and what I knew from before for what I know now. Like clearly what I know now is not sufficient or I would not be in this situation. I'm hoping that that makes sense. So I'm really going to, just put on my learning hat and just let these principles that I've heard over and over and over again, like fall over me again, so that way I can absorb them and walk away with feeling capable and feeling like it's totally possible with me. Like, for example, doing my emergency fund at $500 and understanding that it's going to take 3 months for me to get back on track with my budget. So even in December, like, I'm not going to be so hard on myself that I'm like, oh, you suck. It's like, no, it takes 3 months for you to get back onto it. So that's another reason why I would give myself a C, is because this is the second month in 2017 that I'm doing a budget. And, I am relearning how to do this, and I'm not failing, but I'm not succeeding either. I'm right there at average. So yeah, I think that's it. My report card for November 2017 would be a C. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it 2 thumbs up. If you have questions or you want me to go into any sort of specific details about anything that I've talked about in the video, just leave me a comment and I will. And if you enjoy reading, you can always pop over to the blog where there'll be my monthly budget report card in written form, a little bit more detail with the numbers if you guys want to calculate and whatnot. So I will talk to you all very soon. Again, next time I come to you, I'm going to do something fabulous, because I feel like I want to be fabulous, but more than wanting to look good on here, I want to do what I said that I was going to do, right? Like, I want to get the ball rolling on my budget, and it is the 12th. So we're almost in December. So by the time you guys get the next video, it's going to already be the other thing. So more than looking good, I want to do good. And that is what coming on here, very fresh faced and doing my laundry in comfy clothes is about. So I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me. And I encourage all of you all who are walking alongside this journey with me to keep going. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.